Hey yo guys, this is Jared aka the Saint of Sins on Xbox Live, bringing you some more MLB thoughts with, once again, the Cleveland Indians and Toronto Blue Jays gameplay footage in MLB 2K12. Yesterday proved a bit more fortuitous for me as I went 7 for 5 in my picks, getting the Phillies, the Rockies, the Blue Jays, the Nationals, and the Royals game wrong. Yesterday's top performers would be Barry Zito going 9 innings and surrendering no runs on 4 hits with 4 strikeouts against the Rockies. Tommy Milone pitching 8 shutout innings, surrendering only 3 hits against the Kansas City Royals. Matt Wieters going 4 for 4 with a home run against the Yankees. And Nelson Cruz driving in 4 RBIs on the 3 for 4 day with a home run against the Seattle Mariners. Now shifting our focus over to today's matchups. This would be the first time Matt Moore's ever faced off against the Tigers, and Porcello's first time pitching against the Rays since July 29th of 2010. His line in that 4-2 loss against the Rays would be 4 earned runs on 5 hits with 1 home run and 2 walks, over 7 1/3 with 8 strikeouts. But his career figures against this current Rays lineup proves that he is pretty effectual, surrendering only 3 hits and 24 at-bats while collecting 7 strikeouts. Porcello can tend to be an up and down sort of pitcher, posting a career .454 ERA with a .138 WHIP. But the concern in this matchup will be whether or not Matt Moore can be effective not only against lefty Prince Fielder, but against right-handed slugger Miguel Cabrera. If Moore can replicate any of his AAA success from last year, then he could be a formidable bottom of the rotation pitcher with ace-like stuff. Last season in Durham, Moore would post a 4-0 record with a .137 ERA over 52 2/3 innings, surrendering only 8 runs on 33 hits with 79 strikeouts and only 18 walks. Coming into this season, he would be ranked as the number 2 overall prospect on Baseball America's Top 100 Prospects list of 2012. This should be an interesting matchup, as this one will likely turn into a pitcher's duel that comes down to which bullpen is more effective in relieving their starter. And thus far, through 14 2/3 innings of relief, the Tigers bullpen has surrendered 7 runs on 17 hits. This information leads me to believe that the Rays will edge out the Tigers at Comerica Park. The Pittsburgh Pirates travel down to Los Angeles, sending up Kevin Correa to face off against 2011 National League Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw. Sporting a career 4-2 record and .440 ERA at Dodger Stadium, Correa has surrendered 21 earned runs on 44 hits and 43 innings pitched. His biggest obstacle will be Andre Ethier, who is a career 10 for 20 with 2 doubles, a triple, and 4 RBIs with 4 walks and no strikeouts. But it's more than likely that Correa will not be involved in the decision, as he manages to limit the damage of the other bats on the Dodgers lineup. If the Pirates can manage to put up any kind of run support in favor of Correa, all he would have to then do is turn the ball over to Hanrahan, who would be lights out. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening, as Clayton Kershaw has been very effective against this Pirates lineup. The only Pirates RBI threats against the 24-year-old left-hander would be Garrett Jones and Clint Barmes, who each have 3 RBIs apiece. The only way I could see Pittsburgh edging out a victory over Kershaw would be if he still suffers any symptoms from his illness. But he is expected to pitch more than 3 innings this time out and should be as effective as he normally is. So with that all in mind, I'm rolling with the Dodgers to take Game 1 in this series. Out in the American League Central, the White Sox and Indians will gear up for Game 2 of their 3-game series, as Philip Humber takes to the mound for the White Sox to face off against Janmar Gomez. Thus far offensively, the White Sox are only batting .221 as a team, and this matchup could likely continue these troubles, as Gomez in 2 starts posts a 2-0 career record with a .225 ERA against the Southside Sox, while Humber in 14 1/3 has surrendered 11 earned runs on 21 hits with 2 home runs and 3 walks, sporting a .691 career ERA against the Tribe. Simply put, this pitching matchup is terrible for the White Sox, and I do believe the Indians will split this series, knotting it up at 1 apiece. While over in Baltimore, Wei Yin Chen will make his Major League debut pitching for the Orioles as he faces off against Freddie Garcia and the New York Yankees. One could realize that this is a bad matchup for Freddie Garcia, as he posts a career .327 average against with the Orioles. But on the other hand, one could look at this historically and realize that the Yankees tend to struggle when they always face off against a pitcher they've never seen before. It's more than likely that Garcia could dig himself into a big enough hole that the Yankees offense may never be able to climb him out of. So with that, I'm picking the Baltimore Orioles to take this game and split the series. Back in Toronto, Daniel Bard will get the start for the Red Sox as he takes on Kyle Drabek of the Blue Jays. Though both pitchers are extremely young in their careers, Bard posts the better batting average against with a 146 on this Toronto lineup, surrendering only 6 hits and 41 at-bats. Kyle Drabek, on the other hand, suffers tremendously, surrendering 14 hits and 35 at-bats against this Boston lineup, surrendering 4 home runs to the bats of Adrian Gonzalez and David Ortiz, both having 2 apiece. Part of Drabek's failings in the major leagues has been his mechanics. A breakdown of them showcases that his arm is too far behind his body, which leaves a lot of drag, so his breaking ball pitches tend to flatten out, plus he lacks a lot of control on them. These issues will only continue if his mechanics remain the same, and I doubt he will be changing them anytime soon before tonight's game, so with that in mind, I'm picking the Boston Red Sox to go up 2 games in this series. Mike Leake will take to the mound at the Great American Ballpark as once again the Cincinnati Reds host St. Louis and Kyle Loge. Thus far, I've been pleasantly surprised with the Cardinals' offense remaining as potent as if Albert Pujols was still a part of it. Having already scored 31 runs over their 5 games played, the Cardinals now rank as the #1 overall team in runs. It's more than likely that Leake will continue to feed into the Cardinals' offense as he has surrendered 8 earned runs on 15 hits in 10 1/3 innings against the reigning world champions. I believe this trend will continue as Leake suffers a loss at the hands of the Cardinals, leaving them with an opportunity to sweep the series. Returning to Citi Field, Dylan G will get the start for the Mets as they host Ross Detweiler and the Washington Nationals. Thus far, the Mets are unbeaten and even pulled off a surprising victory behind Mike Pelfrey's poor performance as he surrendered 3 earned runs on 10 hits in 5 2/3 innings pitched. The Mets will likely continue this hot streak as Dylan G posts a 193 batting average against the Washington lineup, surrendering only 17 hits and 88 at-bats with 10 walks and 20 strikeouts. While Detweiler in 5 appearances against the Mets has given up 9 runs on 19 hits in 18 innings. This should be a rough outing for Detweiler should he fail to completely turn that corner that he did last season. Meanwhile in Houston, the Atlanta Braves will send up top of the rotation Tommy Hanson to face off against the Houston Astros #5 starter Kyle Weiland. Hanson will be the Braves' best chance at stopping this 4-game losing skid before it gets any worse. Currently, the Braves are collectively batting .165 on the season, ranking them 28th overall in average, but that trend should change thanks to the favorable matchup against Weiland. For in his 7 appearances, Weiland has surrendered 21 earned runs on 29 hits in 24 2/3 innings pitched in Boston. North of Texas, the Cubbies will send up Paul Mulholland to face off against Milwaukee Brewers' Chris Narveson. This one will not be pretty as both pitchers tend to struggle career-wise against the other's offensive line. I fully expect this one to become a high-scoring slugfest. I expect the bullpens to be called in early and do what the starters can't do, which is go long. Coming down to the offense, the Brewers have the edge given that they've scored 21 runs over their last 4 games and are collectively batting .260 as a team. They're also slugging .519, which puts them 5th overall in slugging percentage. That's reason enough for me to pick the Brewers at Wrigley. Blake Beavan of the Seattle Mariners will take to the mound to face off against Texas Rangers' own Neftali Feliz. Though it is impressive thus far in his career, he has left the Mariners lineup hitless off of him in 28 at-bats while collecting 13 strikeouts. It is a very small sample given that he has only faced them as a reliever. But he does have electric stuff, and if he can stretch out, it is very likely he could lead this team hitless for the first 4 innings until they figure him out. The only real question remains, will Blake Beavan be as effective as his career stat line showcases against this lineup? Having only surrendered 9 hits in 51 at-bats to the Texas Rangers, Beavan is sporting a solid 176 batting average against. Beavan's last outing against the Rangers was on September 16th of 2011, in which he pitched 8 shutout innings, surrendering only 4 hits with 3 strikeouts. I'm going back and forth on this one, but a part of me feels the Mariners may pull an upset here and actually get one over Neftali, or at the very least, the Rangers bullpen. Making his Arizona Diamondbacks debut, Trevor Cahill will take to the mound at Petco Park to face off against the San Diego Padres and Edinson Volquez. In his last start, Volquez surrendered 2 earned runs on 3 hits over 5 innings, while handing 4 passes and striking out 7 Dodgers. And if last year was any indication to a new trend he is creating for himself in the month of April, it's likely he'll follow a similar line, going at most 6 innings while surrendering 3+ hits and possibly 2+ runs. Further compounding the issue, the last time Volquez actually faced off against the Diamondbacks was September 13th of 2008, in which he surrendered 2 earned runs on 5 hits and 6 walks through 6 innings while collecting 8 strikeouts. It's simply likely that the Padres may not be able to give Volquez enough run support to avoid a losing decision in this one. But I'm not willing to outright say that Trevor Cahill will get the victory, or even be involved in the decision. The Diamondbacks could likely rally off of the Padres bullpen much in the same way that they did off of San Francisco, and that's what I'll be banking on in my decision to go with the Diamondbacks in San Diego. And rounding out the events in Oakland, Graham Godfrey takes to the mound as he hosts the Kansas City Royals and Danny Duffy. My line of logic in this one will still remain with the Royals being my favorites, since they were capable of scoring massive run support against the Anaheim Angels. And that's all I'll be banking on, despite the fact that Danny Duffy has a batting average against this Oakland lineup of 152. Once again, to recap, my picks for the day are the Rays, the Dodgers, the Indians, the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Cardinals, the Mets, the Braves, the Brewers, the Mariners, the Diamondbacks, and the Royals. That's going to do it for this edition of MLB Thoughts. I will see you guys later. Peace.